should have been a turning point. Congress should have stopped arms sales until unlawful attacks ended and war criminals were held accountable. And instead, the US accepted Saudi and Emirati promises to end violations and investigate. 2 years later, there has been no accountability, and airstrikes on Yemeni civilians continue.
The human rights group that Radia al-Matwakil represents documented 128 apparently unlawful coalition airstrikes in 2018 that killed 418 civilians, including 181 children. During this time, they also observed armed Houthi rebels commit violations against Yemeni people, including laying landmines, shelling civilians, arbitrarily detaining scores of people. The report warns, despite ongoing coalition abuses, the U.S. continues to sell Saudi Arabia and the UAE weapons for use in Yemen in violation of domestic and international law. The UK, too, continues arms sales in violation of its obligations under the Arms Trade Treaty and the EU Common Position on Military Exports. Well, for more, we are joined by Radia al-Matwakil, chairperson of Moatana Organization for Human Rights, one of the groups that published the report. It's titled Day of Judgment, the Role of the U.S. and Europe in Civilian Death, Destruction, and Trauma in Yemen. Welcome to Democracy Now! Can you start off, Radia, by telling us the message you conveyed to Congress yesterday? What is most important for us to understand about your country, Yemen, where you live in the capital, Sana'a?
First, I wanted the Congress to know that they can change the fates of Yemenis. They can play a very positive role to end the war. But instead of this, they are supporting Saudis and Emiratis blindly, not only by selling weapons, but also by military and political support. So I wanted them just to try to shift this and to play a positive role to end the war in Yemen, which is very possible. It just needs a will from the Congress and the international community in general.
Well, Radia, can you talk about some of the questions that you were asked during the hearing? And also, you live in Yemen. Were you able to convey to them, the Congress members who were present at the hearing, what conditions they...
So, here we are. We're right on this window I keep talking about, where we have a great opportunity to change things. Hey, John.
Hey.
Making breakfast.
Hi.
Oh.
I'm probably going to go back upstairs.
Okay.
I'm going to go back upstairs.
When do you want to do that video?
You have a story? You know what you're going to talk
about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll film it whenever.
How about this afternoon, like around 2 or 3 when the sun comes through this window?
All right.
And I can sit in that thing and the light will be right on me?
Yeah.
And it'll be pretty and I can talk?
Okay. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
And John, let's see. Alexa, start Democracy Over. Democracy Now! Alexa, start Democracy Now!
I couldn't find any enabled video skills that can play that. Go to the Alexa app to manage your video skills and devices.
Want to ask your question?
You're filming a live video.
Yeah. I'm walking away. So, you want me to do this video? There's 3 things. 1, you can just put it on a tripod and focus on me, and then leave the room. And that way, you won't have to be bothered shooting. Then you can take it upstairs and cut it up. All right. 2, I have 0 money, but I want to eat more than just the crap that's from straight from walls or well, there is, but there are no vegetables. I'm going to go buy some fruits and And then just shoot it, as a video, and then slice it up however you want, do your magic, add music, add pictures, whatever. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, because I can kind of hear what you're saying. I think it'd be better without me there.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't interrupt, and that's the thing that people get most upset with. And you can watch it, I'm gonna do a live chat at the same time.
There are other times when I make it more interesting for you, for them to like you better. In the way that I say, oh yeah, support you.
Okay, you wanna do that? I'm just, that might be.
Right.
You're looking for different inputs. Yeah. You wanna do things in a different way, so you're gonna make more money. This is just
I don't really care about doing filmmaking for the sake of money unless it's some art that I actually want to do, the creative thing that I want to do. So this is something interesting enough, but I'm really more interested in myself, not some other person as much.
Okay. Not a problem. Anyway, so, hey guys, we're back. And basically, this is, let's see, how long has it been? That's been 6 minutes. Oh. And, John wants to do another video on his YouTube, and that's fine. I just wanted to put in some parameters, and I thought it might have been nice to have privacy talking about this. But I'm going to start right beginning. Hi, this is your Sensei Al Bob, and this is Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And that is our YouTube channel, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And this is a morning chat, and that's my friend off the grid would say a morning ramble. And so last night I kind of consumed a HBO show called Newsroom, which I think is folks don't even realize how much of our television comes from England. And not so much, we get all this stuff that's on PBS that's straight up like, Monty Python or Up and Down Street and all that kind of stuff on PBS. But a lot of our TV shows, like The Office, that was an English show that was brought here and remade as an American show. Living on Mars was a show that was made in England. And a good deal of our cop shows that basically premise or idea or the whole thread of it comes from there. So there was a show called, I forgot what it was called, but it was like what 60 Minutes is now. It was like their logo was a clock, and they did a news show, like 60 Minutes, in the 50s and 60s, and it was all about the people behind it, the relationships and the stories they told them. And that was the Newsroom. And the Newsroom is, comes out of the brain who did West Wing, and he writes it, and his whole thing is all over there. That's for sure. And so here is breakfast, right? Ooh. And it's been really cold, and if I was thrown out again, I'd probably die. And I have you saw what I ate for breakfast yesterday out of the dumpster. This is, stuff that I dragged out of the refrigerator that's like, way past the cell pass date. Ugh. Anyway, let's see. Where's it? So the show starts, the series starts, the HBO series starts the day of, it's a cable news show, and it has pretty good ratings. The guy is applicable, and the first scene is he's giving a little speech at a college, and there's a staunch neoconservative TV person and a staunch liberal person. One's like the Fox person, the other's kind of like the and there's our hero Will, and he is sitting in the middle, and the liberals going on about blah 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 liberal stuff, and the conservative guys going on about blah blah blah. I can hardly read that. I gotta go get my other pair of glasses. Let's see. Well, get my glasses. I'll let you look at my breakfast. Steam away. And, this is the poison that John's scared to eat, Even though, pretty much we've been eating out of cans here. And John brought down a dozen eggs. That was nice of him. And anyway, but we're getting kind of scarce. And like I said, I have no money, so I couldn't just buy a nice little breakfast yesterday, like I did the morning before. That was my last morning breakfast at IHOP. Anyway, but so there's this, right? And okay, so breakfast, activated charcoal. It's, and turmeric. Here's my 2 morning supplements. I'll read them backwards. Anyway, so show starts with our hero Will at a college, and they're saying, and it's interesting because this, I think, movie was made before Donald Trump announced. I'm not quite sure because, you know, in the days of Donald Trump, it's like, who the fuck knows what's going on? Or even what day it is or what time it is. Grumman. So, our hero Will, you know, the students ask the 3 commentators and the, you know, guy who's like the professor of media and sociology the question, battery is low? Really? Oh.